All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Anuja Kumar. The headlines. Campaigning to end this evening for the first phase of assembly elections in Gujarat. Several leaders to hold back-to-back rallies. 7th edition of Global Technology Summit to begin in New Delhi today. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar to speak at the inaugural session. Ministry of Power launches a scheme to procure aggregate power of 4,500 megawatt to help states facing power shortage. Delhi and adjoining areas witnessing continuous drop in minimum temperature. And in FIFA World Cup, Portugal and Brazil enter the last 16 stage. And now the news in detail. Today is the last day of campaigning for the first phase of assembly elections in Gujarat. The campaign will end at 5 p.m. this evening. All political parties are leaving no stone unturned to woo the voters. Senior BJP leader and Union Home Minister Amit Shah will address election rallies at Dahod, Kheda and Ahmedabad districts today. Two-phase elections are being held in Gujarat to elect the new assembly. Voting for the first phase will take place on the 1st of December and for the second phase on the 5th. More from our correspondent.
National President of BJP JP Nadda will hold two public meetings in Vadodara and one in Dahod. Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh Yogi Adityanath scheduled to address three meetings including Vadodara and a road show in Godhra today. Union Minister Smriti Irani will hold a Mahila Sammelan and a road show in Gandhidham. Many other BJP leaders including Union Minister Mansukh Mandaviya and a National President of BJP Yuva Morcha Tejasvi Surya will hold public meetings at various places. On the other hand, senior Congress leaders, including State President Jagdish Thakur, will campaign for party candidates at various places. Senior Aam Aadmi Party leader and Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann will hold road shows at 5 places including Limdi, Viramgam and Bhavnagar today. With Aparna Khoot from Ahmedabad, Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Rajkot.
The 7th edition of the Global Technology Summit will begin today in New Delhi in hybrid format. The 3-day summit is India's annual flagship event on geotechnology and is co-hosted by the Ministry of External Affairs and Carnegie India. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will speak on geodigital and its effects during the inaugural session of the summit. External Affairs Ministry said over the course of 3 days, the world's leading minds in technology, government, security, space, startups, data, law, public health, climate change, academics, economy will gather and debate the vital questions related to technology and its future. Our correspondent has filed this report.
The theme for this year's summit is Geopolitics of Technology. The summit will see participation from more than 100 speakers across over 50 panel discussions, keynote addresses, book launches and other events. Ministers and senior government officials from the US, Singapore, Japan, Nigeria, Brazil, Bhutan, the European Union and other countries will also participate in the summit. More than 5,000 participants from all over the world have registered to attend the summit. A large number of participants would be joining the conversations through the GTS Summit website and the Carnegie India's YouTube and social media pages. Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
President Draupadi Murmu will attend the International Gita Festival at Kurukshetra in Haryana today. On the first day of a 2-day visit to the state, the President will reach Brahma Sarovar in Kurukshetra to perform Gita Pujan and offer prayers in Gita Yagya. She will also inaugurate the state exhibition, Haryana Pavilion and Shilp Udyan. The President will also visit the pavilion of Madhya Pradesh, the partner state of this year's International Gita Festival. President Murmu will participate in the International Gita Seminar scheduled to be held at Srimad Bhagavad Gita Sadan in Kurukshetra University and will virtually inaugurate 3 big projects of Haryana government including Nirogi Haryana scheme and lay the foundation stone of Sirsa Medical College. She will also attend the 18th convocation of the National Institute of Technology, Kurukshetra, as the chief guest. The President will reach Chandigarh in the evening. A cultural program will be organized in the evening at Haryana Raj Bhavan. The fourth edition of the Armed Forces Flag Day Corporate Social Responsibility Conclave is being organized in New Delhi today. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will be the chief guest at the event. A new website for the Armed Forces Flag Day Fund will be launched by the Defence Minister on the occasion. The new website is an interactive and user-friendly portal developed to promote online contribution to Armed Forces Flag Day Fund. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh held the 4th India-France Annual Defence Dialogue with Minister of Armed Forces of France, Sébastien Lecornu, in New Delhi. In a statement, the Defence Ministry said a wide range of bilateral, regional defence and defence industrial cooperation issues were discussed in the dialogue. The ministers reviewed the ongoing military-to-military cooperation, which has increased substantially in recent years. They also discussed means to strengthen maritime cooperation and increase the scope and complexity of bilateral exercises. During the dialogue, one of the key areas of discussion was defence industrial cooperation with a focus on Make in India. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. Welcome back. Ministry of Power has launched a scheme for procurement of aggregate power of 4,500 megawatt for 5 years under Shakti policy. The ministry said that the scheme will help states that are facing power shortage and help generation plants to increase their capacities. PFC Consulting Limited has been designated as the nodal agency. It has invited bids for the supply of 4,500 megawatt electricity. The supply will commence from April next year. The utilities that have shown interest for the scheme are Gujarat Urja Vikas Nigam Limited, Maharashtra State Electricity Distribution Company Limited, Madhya Pradesh Power Management Company Limited, New Delhi Municipal Corporation and Tamil Nadu Generation and Distribution Corporation Limited. The last date for the bid submission is 21st of December. It is for the first time that bidding is being carried out under BV of Shakti scheme. Shakti, or Scheme for Harnessing and Allocating Koila Transparently in India, was launched in 2018 to provide coal to stressed power units which lack coal supply. In Meghalaya, 3 sitting MLAs, 2 from the ruling National People's Party NPP and 1 from the opposition All India Trinamool Congress AITC, have resigned as members of the Legislative Assembly. The 2 NPP legislators, Benedict R. Marak from Raksamgri and Farlin C.A. Sangma from Silsila, and AITC legislator Himalay Muktan Shangpiliang Mosenram handed over their resignation letter to Speaker Metba Lingdo yesterday. They are expected to join the BJP next month. Chief Minister of Assam Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma will today conduct a special meeting of his cabinet at Silchar for the first time in the history of the state. Almost all cabinet ministers of Assam have reached Silchar last night by a special flight from the state capital Guwahati. Government of Assam had notified establishment of its mini secretariat at Silchar for 3 districts of Barak Valley on the 19th of February 2021 to bring the government at the doorstep of the people. However, this is the first time a state cabinet meeting will be held in Silchar, the principal town of Barak Valley. The 4-day winter session of Uttarakhand Legislative Assembly will begin in Dehradun today. Ahead of the session, Assembly Speaker Ritu Kanduri Bhushan held an all-party meeting yesterday and urged all legislators to raise issues of public interest in a peaceful and dignified manner in the House. The Speaker informed that on the first day of the session, government's supplementary budget would be presented in the House. The Chinese government has tightened security in several cities, including Beijing and Shanghai. The cities have been witnessing widespread protests against COVID-19 curbs and heavy-handed treatment of citizens caught in lockdowns. The Chinese Foreign Ministry also dismissed questions on the exceptionally rare demonstrations, saying they do not reflect what actually happened. There was also no official word on how many people were detained after the spontaneous demonstrations held across China. According to media reports, police used pepper spray against protesters in Shanghai and struggled to suppress demonstrations in other cities, including Beijing. On Monday, Shanghai authorities put up barriers around the city center area where protests took place, blocking them off from people. Former athlete P.T. Usha has been elected unopposed as the president of the Indian Olympic Association, IOA. She was the lone contender and was elected after no other nominations were filed till the deadline on Sunday. The elections were due to be held in the month of December. Union Law Minister Kiran Rijiju congratulated the former athlete on her election. Usha is the first woman to occupy the top job at IOA in its 95-year history, and she is also the first Olympic winner and international medalist to take over the top post. In the FIFA World Cup, Portugal and Brazil have entered the last 16th stage, while five-time champion Brazil beat Switzerland 1-0 in Group G at Doha. Portugal outplayed Uruguay 2-0 in a Group H match in Qatar last night. France has already entered the last 16. Here is match analysis from our sports desk.
Bruno Fernandes scored twice to send Portugal flying into the round of 16, defeating Uruguay 2-0. Fernandes curled in a cross from the left that barely went over the head of Ronaldo and bounced into the far corner of the net in the 54th minute to give Portugal a 1-0 lead. Ronaldo wheeled away in celebration, believing he had scored his 9th World Cup goal and 2nd of this year's tournament. However, after repeated close-up replays, it was awarded to Fernandes, who added a second goal from the penalty spot in stoppage time after a handball by Jose Maria Jimenez. Earlier, in Brazil versus Switzerland, after playing a goalless first half at Stadium 974, Manchester United star Casemiro scored a stunning volley to give Brazil, playing without Neymar, a 1-0 win over Switzerland. With the thrilling win in a low-scoring encounter, the record five-time champions have joined France in the last 16 of the Qatar World Cup. The Brazilian side has also become the second team to not face a single shot on target in their first two matches in a single edition of the FIFA World Cup. The same feat earlier was achieved by defending champions France in the 1998 edition of the mega event. With Pratyush Ghosh, Vaibhav Jyotsna Srivastav, Sports Desk.
Today there will be two Group A matches. Ecuador will take on Senegal at the Khalifa International Stadium Doha, and the Netherlands will take on Qatar at the El Bayt Stadium in Qatar. Delhi and adjoining areas are witnessing a continuous drop in minimum temperature. Yesterday, the national capital recorded a minimum temperature of 7.6 degrees Celsius, 2 degrees below normal. It is also the lowest minimum temperature in the season so far. However, the maximum temperature was recorded at 27.2 degrees Celsius, which is 2 degrees above normal. Delhi is likely to record a maximum temperature of 27 degrees Celsius and a minimum of 8 degrees today. And now for an overview of today's newspaper, it's over to Tanvi Khurana.
Thank you, Anuja. India gets its first private launch pad, writes The Times of India, adding the facility was inaugurated days after the launch of first privately built rocket Vikram-S. The Business Standard reports Bharat Bio gets Nasal-Vax nod for use as mix-match booster as Incovac becomes world's first intranasal vax for COVID to get approval for primary two-dose schedule. A headline in the Economic Times says U.S. stocks slip as protests spread in China over COVID restrictions. Eyeing India as critical partner in its Indo-Pacific strategy, Canada to invest more in visa processing at Chandigarh and Delhi, notes the Tribune. And finally, a Hindustan Times headline writes, ISRO to work with ICHR on ancient India's role as the Vishwaguru of science space exploration.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Campaigning to end this evening for the first phase of Assembly elections in Gujarat. Several leaders to hold back-to-back rallies. 7th edition of Global Technology Summit to begin in New Delhi today. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar to speak at the inaugural session. Ministry of Power launches a scheme to procure aggregate power of 4,500 megawatt to help states facing power shortage. Delhi and adjoining areas witnessing continuous drop in minimum temperature. And in FIFA World Cup, Portugal and Brazil enter the last 16th stage. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.